Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I heard at last night's American sprint qualifying session. Um, Once again, I'm hearing things from Brundle and Crofty, and I don't like them. So I record them and I'm going to explain them to you. Before that, we just need to talk about the Red Bull cheating again. Red Bull, same old Red Bull, always cheating. Max Verstappen does not have a single legitimate world championship. This guy has been paraded in front of us as some all-time great, and he is nothing. Okay, this whole show has created this fake champion and presented that we're watching some fake greatness, and it is all bullshit. Likewise, this notion of Adrian Newey being some sort of fucking genius, utter bullshit. Okay, the guy is a fucking cheat. Okay, a fucking cheat. And here's yet another one of his cheats. Oh, it's not Adrian Newey. He no longer works for him. This is what they've been doing all this time. We know, we've seen, those of us that have watched the sport for any length of time can see that that performance differential that Red Bull had over all of the other teams is not normal. That is not due to Adrian Newey being a genius. He wasn't a genius in each of those 8 years that Mercedes won the Constructors' title, was he? Where was his genius? Where did the genius disappear to in those 8 years? But Red Bull, they breached cost cap, and then all of a sudden, Newey's a genius. Right, well, I'm going to come to that in a second. But firstly, we're going to have Ted Kravitz explain the latest Red Bull cheat that's been revealed. These are only the ones that are being revealed. Okay, these are only the ones that are being revealed. Understand that.
You might be hearing about the bib or the tea tray. It's the front section of the car. They call it a bib or a tea tray because it looks like a small kind of tray you might be able to serve some cups of tea on. But this is
Fuck off, Ted. That looks nothing like the sort of tray that you would serve a cup of tea on. Wanker.
It's really a discussion about how low you can run the front of your car. In Formula One, the lower you run your cars, the greater downforce they generate and the faster you...
Okay, it's not about getting the front end low, it's about the whole of the under tray being low. Okay, you want that creating a suction effect to the ground. This front wing, it's the angle of the spoilers on the front that's going to determine the amount of downforce they're going to be producing. It's not whether or not this nose is 2 or 3 inches higher or lower than it's currently sitting that's going to create a massive amount of downforce difference. It's the angle of these.
You can corner, the better your lap time. The lower that you can get the front means the lower that this front wing can actually go on the ground, and then that really means that you start to pick up huge amounts of downforce, better lap times. Now, the height of this...
He's not actually explaining the dynamics of that very well. These things operate in the reverse to like an aeroplane wing. Okay, it's not about, oh, the higher the aeroplane goes, the more lift it creates. No, that's not how it works. It's the shape. Okay, it's the shape of it, and relative to the ground, the thing that is going to be helping it suck to the ground is the underbody venturis, which have that suction effect to pull the thing down to the ground. It's not the front wing. Now, the front wing is obviously going to set that. That's going to help push the front nose down and actually set the angle that the airflow is going to travel underneath the body. But it's not about the initial point adjusting the T tray so the nose can be lower. That's just, it's not really the mechanics of it, Ted.
The ride height of the car, every car is governed by a wooden plank on the floor. They don't allow you just to scrape along the bottom of the track. That would be dangerous.
The ride height isn't governed by a wooden plank. Okay, the ride height is going to be governed by your suspension settings as to how much you've got that car jacked up or lowered down. Okay, that's what governs it. Now, what the regulations state is that you have this plank on the underside of your car, and that's not allowed to be worn away beyond a certain limit. Now, that plank is there as this idea of if this car starts hitting the floor, this plank is going to be worn out. So you're not allowed to run your car in a way where it's designed to just keep hitting the floor and hitting the floor and hitting the floor because you're running it so low. And therefore you've got some wear parameters on that plank.
So it's governed by a wooden plank under the car. You wear that wooden plank out, you get disqualified like Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc did here last year. Now, ideally, of course, you'd like to run the car really low in the ride height in qualifying because, of course, the car only has 20 kilograms of fuel in it in qualifying because it's nice and light. But then when it has 100 kilograms of fuel in for the race, weighing it down, you would like to be able to raise the car's ride height up a little bit to make sure you don't wear out that plank underneath the car and really get disqualified like Leclerc and Hamilton did last year. Now, what Red Bull have admitted is that they have a device somewhere in this cockpit, buried deep around the driver's cockpit, a device which can raise or lower the car's ride height. It's adjustable by the mechanics, but Red Bull say they set it before qualifying and leave it. Now, just to underline the part...
Yeah, and if you believe that, you believe anything. Okay, these things, you can adjust the height of the car, you can set the suspension height and how that car is set up. But that you set it and you have parc fermé conditions. You're not allowed to then make any amendments to that in between qualifying and the race. If you've got a lever within the cabin and you can do that, well, you can do that in secret, can't you? Nobody's really monitoring that. They can't really see and detect what it is you're doing. Just like everything with Red Bull, you can't see or detect what they're doing. Oh, an asymmetric braking device that you can't see or detect what they're doing. Oh, a freeze on engine development because Honda have left the sport and we're having to set up Red Bull powertrains, so you can't detect whether or not Honda have gone away and produced greater power increase. Oh, Honda are back now. Oh, they want to be back in now that we've reached the Japanese Grand Prix of 2022. And oh, we'll again come up with a different interpretation of the rules to declare Max the world champion of 2022 as well. The list will be endless for the cheats that Red Bull have done.
Fermé rules, of course, you're not allowed to change the car between qualifying and the race. It enters what's known as parc fermé, and that's essentially to make sure that the cars you qualify are the cars that you race, that you don't start changing it. The FIA didn't allow you to do that. So the suspicion is that in the normal course of work on the car, in this cockpit, a mechanic or someone else could be able to change the ride height of the car against the parc fermé regulations. Red Bull say it's absolutely not what the device is there for.
Red Bull say it's absolutely not what it was there for. But Red Bull also said that they didn't breach the cross cap. Red Bull also said they don't have this asymmetric braking device. Red Bull said any doesn't mean all. Red Bull said 15.3 means the race director's got overriding authority over the use of the safety car. Red Bull say that 48.13 override 48.1. Do not believe a fucking thing that Red Bull say because they're a bunch of corrupt, lying bastards. Okay? Get that through your heads. Red Bull are a bunch of corrupt, lying bastards. Christian Horner, Jonathan Wheatley, Adrian Newey, corrupt bastards. Simple as that. Anyway, another video that I would recommend that you watch in regard to this, and I'm just going to show you a comment first. And again, we just do not know the authenticity of anybody that comments, and my channel is proof of that. We see so many tossers that come here to tell us what they think in the comments section, and they know fuck all. But this one, I'm going to read it anyway. The accuracy of it, who knows? But it makes sense. It makes sense. I used to work for Red Bull in the 2022 season. I can talk now. They went way above the cost cap, but they were tricking the financial numbers and how people was working in the company. For instance, some people had contracts to work in the Newies and Heritage program, whilst in reality they were working in the RB18. So yeah, they were and are cheaters. And there are different ways of financially representing things, claiming that people are working on a certain project, so that doesn't fall within your F1 budget, and yet actually they are working on the F1 car, and hence that number, that whatever it is you're paying them, whatever the budget is for that project, needs to be included in that F1 budget. So it is highly likely that, well, we know that we're not being told the truth. The FIA will not tell the truth because they're a bunch of corrupt bastards. Now, the video that I would recommend you go to watch is this one by Espinala44. Okay, if you're not already subscribed to them, go and check them out. You probably already are because they've got probably twice as many subscribers as me. But Espinala44 F1 News. Okay, how long will Red Bull be allowed to get away with blatant cheating? Well, they've been allowed for the 2021 season where they breached the cost cap. They were allowed to their driver Max Verstappen to drive other cars off the track without getting penalised. They were allowed to negotiate. Oh, what grid position would you like to restart the restart at Red Bull? Let me know what you think in the comments section, please, Red Bull. They were allowed to cheat. The governing body cheated for them to gift Max Verstappen the championship at Abu Dhabi 2021. They were allowed then to go into the FIA appeal to tell Mercedes what the rules of the sport were, because when Mercedes went to the FIA, governing body, you've broken the rules of the sport, the governing body went, oh, let's ask Red Bull what they think the rules are that we've all been competing under for the last 10 years. But Red Bull now decide that they want to think that the rules are different. Red Bull think that they found a loophole or a grey area that enables Max Verstappen to be handed this championship on this occasion. Corrupt, lying fucks. All of them. All of them. Understand that. 2022. Oh, the car developed under cost cap. Over budget. So it's an illegal car. 2023, the rocket ship. Now 2024, what are we discovering? Oh, the genius no longer works there. The genius no longer works there. And now we're starting to hear about, oh, the asymmetric braking device. The ride height adjuster. What else? What else? Oh, but we'll distance ourselves from attributing that to Adrian Newey. We'll let Adrian Newey be on his £30 million a fucking year contract with Aston Martin. We'll allow Jonathan Wheatley to go and get whatever contract he's got at Audi. The rats leaving the sinking ship. The rats leaving the sinking ship. Bastards making a fuckload of money, cheating, zero integrity, corrupt fucks. Fucking hate them. Fucking hate them. Anyway, well, I've minimised that too much, but that's the video anyway. How long will Red Bull be allowed to get away with blatant cheating? Espinala44 F1 News. I'll leave a link in the description to this video for you to go and check that video out. It's well worth a listen. Anyway, this video. So, you can see there's 6 of these black thumbnails of recordings I took when I was watching the qualifying session for the sprint race in America that's going to take place today. When I record, when I'm watching Now TV, all it will do is come up with a black screen. They've got some sort of filter where you can't record the live footage. It won't allow it, but I've got the audio for it. So we're going to go through the audios and expose the bullshit. So here's the first one.
Right, that time from Perez, he found only 1/10 of a second between SQ1 and SQ2, and that's not enough. That's just not enough, and he'll be
struggling a lot with the rides. Understood. Copy that.
I'm struggling a lot with the ride, says Strap On. Why is that? Oh, because you no longer got your driving aids. No longer got the asymmetric. Well, you might still have. You might. Who's telling? Who's actually proving that that's actually been removed? Oh, and what about this ride height adjuster? Who's actually proving to us that that no longer is going to be used? Is fixed. Let's weld that in position so it can't be used to adjust anything. Okay, let's just remove the whole device completely. Let that car collapse on its arse. Okay, let's just bin that whole car off. You've got a cheap device. Scrap that car, put it in a skip. Okay, you've got to now make a new one. Oh, otherwise I'm struggling to drive this car because I've not got my driver aids.
Around the world, there is a chorus of people going, well, adjust it then from the cockpit, but you can't do that, and that's not what that device was ever going to do. But
oh, but there we go from Sky Sports. That's not what that device was ever going to do. Do you know that, do you, Crofty? Or are you just paid to fluff? Okay? Are you just paid to suck Verstappen cock? Okay? Oh, that it was never going to do that. It was never going to do that. No, no, no. Validator. You've got a team that's cheating, that has proven that they cheat, they cheat, they cheat, they cheat. And what do? You validate, you validate, you validate, you validate. No. Absolutely no. If this was cycling, and it was, for example, the Tour de France, and let's say, I don't know, it's 18, 20 stages of a race, takes place over 3 weeks, and after 16 stages of that race, Team Ineos, Sir Jim Radcliffe, this incredible gentleman, because he's a sir, he's a knight, he's a sir, he's a cunt, he's a billionaire. And if you're a billionaire, you're a cunt because you've got no social conscience. If you've made billions, you make that amount of money because you don't give a fuck about people. You are quite happy to overcharge them for whatever it is you're doing, to fleece them, because you don't give a fuck about them. You give a fuck about yourself and making as much money as possible. Anyway, Sir Jim, he owns Ineos, the cycling team, and let's say, for example, they've got a rider, and it used to be Chris Froome, and after 16 stages of the Tour de France, Chris Froome is winning by 2 hours. He's winning because he's built up so much time over every stage. He's winning, he's beating everybody by 2 hours. And they discover, the organisers of the sport discover, that Chris Froome has got this little crank motor, whereby there's a little motorised thing powering his bike. What do? They go, oh yes, we've discovered that there's a little motor in there that's giving him assistance to make him go faster. So this cyclist is not having to perform himself. It's the little motor that's doing that. What shall we do? Well, it was never intended to do that. Oh, it was never intended to do that. We'll just tell them they're not allowed to use it anymore. We'll just do that, shall we? Shall we do that? We won't disqualify him. We won't say that all of those advantages that he's gained, that 2-hour advantage he's built up over every other competitor who isn't cheating, oh yeah, that's fine. We'll just leave that as it is, okay? Just tell him he's not allowed to use that anymore. You've got to take that bit off the bike, okay? But otherwise you're okay. Good luck. There's only 4 stages to go, right? There's only 4 stages to go. You still should be able to win with a 2-hour margin, so you'll be all right, okay? Is that what the UCI would do? Or would they kick out the cheat? Would they ban the fucking cheats? Would that be exposed by the media that we've got fucking cheats? But not Sky Sports. Not Crofty. Not... Oh, it was never going to be able to do that, was it? It was never going to be able to do that.
Around the world, there is a chorus of people going, well, adjust it then from the cockpit, but you can't do that, and that's not what that device was ever going to do. But it's kind of, I can hear the chorus from around the world on that one. We've talked.
Wanker, absolute fat wanker, validating, fluffing wanker.
A lot about Bibgate, and I think he explained it quite nicely.
Bibgate. Oh, we'll call it Bibgate now. Just like asymmetric braking gate, like Coscat gate, like every fucking cheating fucking thing that Red Bull do. Bastard.
Pierre Gasly improving.
Yeah, Pierre Gasly. Next. So that's that one.
But it's the sort of incident that they normally would have a look at, I think.
I think they say with when you block another driver, it's sort of irrelevant, the outcome of a result.
So this was an incident where I think it was Colapinto and, who looks a decent driver, and Gasly. And there was a incident of impeding. So this is Brundle, the expert of the sport, now talking about it.
Were you blocked or not? But
that they normally would have a look at, I think.
I think they say with when you block another driver, it's sort of irrelevant, the outcome of a result is were you blocked or not. But yeah, and you can apologise as well. But it's just not. I mean, Colapinto, what a star he's turning out to be, isn't he? But you'd want to say to him, don't let your heartbeat, don't let the revs go up in your head and your body by something like that. Just put it to one side, focus on SQ3. It's just wasted energy, wasted words. As frustrating in your body, Pinto relevant the out.
But it's the sort of incident that they normally would have a look at, I think.
I think they say with when you block another driver, it's sort of irrelevant the outcome of a result.
So the penalty is, well, you've blocked. Just like, but see, this is Brundle. He can say this. He's a two-faced bastard, is Brundle, right? He can say this when it's got, oh, I think it's irrelevant the outcome. Fact is, you've actually impeded them. Yeah, you've impeded them. Now, didn't say that when Max Verstappen drove Lewis Hamilton off the track in Brazil 2021, did he? Oh, both cars went off the track there, so no penalty. Oh, because both cars went off the track. Oh, we call that let them racing. No, one drove the other one off the track. If the other one didn't drive off the track, he would have been smashed into. He had to leave the track to avoid a collision. Oh, but both cars went off the track there. Yeah, that's irrelevant, isn't it, Brundle? Likewise, Silverstone 2021, when Max Verstappen cut across the front nose of Lewis Hamilton, when he had 3 car widths to his left-hand side. That's crowding somebody on the track. That's not leaving them racing room on the track. But you blame Lewis Hamilton for that. How many other times have you blamed Lewis Hamilton, selected the wrong guy? And yet here, you can go, oh, well, no, it's not about the outcome. It's not about the outcome. The fact is, if you've done that, you've done that. Crowding off the track. What did Max Verstappen do at turn 6, Abu Dhabi 2021? He crowded another car off the track. Oh, he's got to give that place back. He's got to give that place back. No, you crowded another driver off the track. That's what you did. Oh, but Lewis then cut the corner. Well, yeah, because you're not going to be disadvantaged because the other driver drove you off the track. That's the offence. But again, another Max Verstappen Red Bull fluffer. Paid to suck Verstappen dick, aren't you? That's what you're paid to do. Max Verstappen fluffer. And therefore, you can't talk straight. You can't talk straight about what is right and wrong in this sport. You're a filthy bastard. Anyway, next.
2 seconds, 10.
Why are we so
So, this is the qualifying runs in Q3. This time we've got Lewis Hamilton complaining about being sent out early in the stint, and the cars on track at the time were himself, George Russell, and Colapinto. Colapinto span. He was ahead of Lewis. He span, and that caused yellows, and therefore, when Lewis was approaching that section of track, it was initially showing yellow, so Lewis Hamilton had to lift. That compromised his lap time. Okay, this was something that I was mindful of when I was watching it, but what you're going to hear is Brundle and Crofty's response to it. Okay, that is what you're going to hear. Now, Lewis is initially complaining, thinking, well, what on earth are we going out so early? Because the track is supposed to improve as the session goes on. Whether it's either temperature or more rubber on it, or maybe the temperature of the rubber, if it's just been, the actual, when rubber gets laid onto a track with wear and friction, maybe it just adds a couple of degrees temporarily. Who knows? I'm not a racing driver. I don't know the technicalities of it that much. We're going on what we are told, and again, what we're told is often a hype job. Understand, what we're told about tyres is often a narrative. The actual the magnitude of the difference it's made is overhyped. When we're seeing tyres that are 40 laps, 50 laps old, and they're still performing in a similar manner to how they are when they're 20 laps old, well, this idea of tyre degradation, it's well overhyped. But again, this is the narrative that we're fed. This is part of selling us the show and bringing into this notion of jeopardy. Oh, this is a factor that you need to be concerned about and stay on the edge of your seat till the end of the race because this could happen, because this is going to deteriorate. And it doesn't. But, you know, we've seen that time and time and time again, but they'll still keep saying the same bullshit time and time and time again. But anyway, this is what's going on now. And should they have sent him out later? My personal opinion is when you've got these kind of qualifying sessions in, go and set an early lap. Lay a marker down. Put the pressure on everybody else. Make them have to make a mistake. Make them have to push. Because if you've got an early marker down and then somebody goes out there and spins and everybody else's lap time is destroyed, well, it's not you the one that's got a destroyed lap time. Okay. Also, it gives you time to then go and set another lap time. You know, it gives you more than one bite at the cherry. So I think that if there's enough fuel in the car, what you do, you go and put a early marker down and then you try again. Especially if the track is got fewer cars on it, you've got less chance of being impeded by other drivers and hopefully less chance of a driver spinning. That being said, if you're out on the track at the same time as some of the weaker drivers, some of the drivers that are more prone to spinning, well, but again, you can't necessarily account for all of that. Anyway, let's play this.
Really, I don't want to go there. No worries. Is everyone still in the pit in the garages? A few still in there.
But not George Russell, I think, is what he's...
Franco Colapinto.
That's two sessions in a row that Lewis has said, I'm not sure why we should go out, with probably good reason, because obviously the track gets quicker as the session goes on, and it's soft tyres and it's just one set as well. But yeah, great job from the Haas team. A lot of work going on the back of Nico Hülkenberg's car, again, after the second session, and now just leading into this SQ3. I think it should be all right, and he'll be out shortly.
Hulkenberg and his teammate Kevin Magnussen through then to this final part of qualifying. The two Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc both through. The one McLaren of Norris and the one Red Bull of Verstappen, and the one RB of Tsunoda to go with the one Williams, this man, and the two Mercedes of Hamilton and Russell.
Soft tyres, of course, now, the mandatory, the faster ones, providing they'll complete the lap. But I understand. But, you know, they fire the car up, take the blankets off.
Providing they'll complete the lap. You're producing tyres that won't complete a lap. What the fuck are you talking about, Brundle?
Off you go. I don't think you have a lot of say in that, but Lewis is like...
And you're thinking you're going to have a set of tyres that are only capable of doing one fucking lap. Well, I thought the sport was supposed to be sustainable. Okay? Sustainable, what does that mean? Does that mean we're living on a planet whereby we're not going to use all the resources up, and we're going to make sure that the resources that we've got, when we are producing things, we're not creating so much pollutant that's destroying the atmosphere and the actual planet? Or is sustainability actually sustaining businesses being able to make profit by producing more and more shit because it's not designed to last? It's designed to fail, and so you have to buy another one. Oh, let's make tyres that only last one lap. And then we'll have to make another tyre that will only last one lap. Shall we do that, shall we? That's fucking good, isn't it? Bastards.
Hang on a minute, what am I doing out here? Seems a bit bizarre, doesn't it? But they clearly want to give themselves clear track and perhaps even a second chance. Look at the oversteer, the rear axle, the rear tyres spinning like crazy. Two-wheel drive, of course, a Formula One car.
Is that an indication of a balance shift between a medium tyre and a soft?
Rear tyres spinning like crazy. Really? We're not seeing that, because if they were spinning like crazy, the arse end of that car would come round on you.
Tyre that we saw George Russell going through there.
Yeah, I would think also the tyres would, with the outlap, they'll go so slowly the tyres wouldn't really be fully up to temperature. He was still struggling with it, wasn't he, through 6 and 7. Here we are down at turn 11 here, but lovely and wide on the way in. Nice arc, pick up the throttle again, a little bit of a traction issue as you take the line of least resistance and the shortest route you can get away with, but you must brake in a straight line. And bang, get all the downshift now, get off the brake pedal, ease.
You must brake in a straight line unless you've got an asymmetrical braking device that's not going to cause you to fucking spin by trying to brake as you're cornering. Yeah, wonder who had one of them. Probably still got it. Oh, it's Supermax, the best you've ever seen, that can only drive with stabilisers.
Nose into the corner and pick up the throttle. Lovely. One sweet move. Treat the throttle pedal like it's got an egg underneath it.
Treat the throttle pedal like it's got an egg underneath it. Not Nicholas Latifi flooring it mid-corner to light up the back tyres to kick your back end out into the barrier at turn 14 Abu Dhabi. Basics of driving. How to crash on purpose. Talk us through how you drive a racing car, Martin.
Off the brake pedal, ease the nose into the corner and pick up the throttle. Lovely. One sweet move. Treat the throttle pedal like it's got an egg underneath it. You don't want to brake in some respects and just sweep down.
Look, Lewis,
Treat the throttle pedal like it's got an egg underneath it. You floor it, Nicholas. The arse end of your car is going to come round on you. You're going to be facing the wrong way. Strange.
Hamilton on the screen as well. 4/10 quicker than George Russell.
So, Hamilton, 4/10 quicker through the first sector of the qualifying lap. Now listen.
Through the first sector alone. 7/10 quicker than Franco Colapinto, the other car out here currently. Colapinto going very slowly out of turn 15 and might have gone off the track and had a bit of a problem. Russell continues on his way, crosses the line, 1:32.8. That's the time to beat. Colapinto's got going again. Green flags are now waving as Hamilton arrives on the scene, and there is the Williams car on the right-hand side.
Green flags are there now that Hamilton arrives on the scene. It only changed as Hamilton approached the braking zone, but he was initially getting yellows. And I'm going to take you through the analysis by Anthony Davidson, and we can see that. But as soon as you've got yellow flags in a sector, you know that you need to ease off. When you've got them yellow lights flashing at you on the light boards or yellow flags being waving, you have to lift. And that's what Hamilton had to do.
But Russell a half second faster than Hamilton in the middle sector.
Oh, that's strange, isn't it, Brundle? Oh, but look at Russell. He's half a second faster than Hamilton. Well, that's because Hamilton's had to fucking lift because of a yellow flag, hasn't he, you cunt?
Green flags are now waving as Hamilton arrives on the scene, and there is the Williams car on the right-hand side.
But Russell a half second faster than Hamilton in the middle.
Oh, let's big up George Russell, shall we? Or is it the fact that Lewis has been impeded? He's had to lift. He's had to slow down.
Sector, so it ended up a very good lap for George Russell.
Yeah, the Mercedes car.
Oh, because he's half a second faster than Lewis. So it's an incredible lap for Russell. No. It's the fact that Lewis has been blocked off from being able to maintain his pace. Something has taken place, a safety concern. One of the cars has spun, and therefore he creates a safety concern. So the other drivers have to slow down. Okay, that's how it works.
Trading blow for blow. Maybe you do need to not push too hard in the first sector here and treat your tyres a bit more gently because you...
Oh, maybe it's the tyres. Maybe Lewis went too fast in that first sector and George was more intelligent by not going fast in the first sector, and that made his tyres better for the last 2/3 of the lap. Fucking wankers. Listen to these wankers. Oh, because George took it easy for the first third of the lap, and that made his tyres superb for the last 2/3, and that's given George all of this pace. Incredible, George. Oh, the Professor George. Lewis, no, he went too fast in that first third of the lap, and he overcooked the tyres. He didn't treat them tyres well enough, and that slowed him down for the rest of the lap. Or was it because Lewis got yellow flags, had to lift? That compromised his lap. Was it that? Was it the fact that yellow flags fucked Lewis Hamilton's lap? Oh, maybe it was George and his genius only going 4/10 slower in that first third gave George the faster lap. Incredible for George.
Get the better use of them for the next 2/3 of the lap. Round the final corner we go. Hamilton, just the steering input just didn't seem to be what he wanted. He crosses the line, half a second down on his teammate.
Yeah, so Russell gave up the first sector through the snake and then got the dividends later on in the lap.
Listen to that bullshit. Russell gave up the curves in the first sector and got the dividends later on. Look at the way they're lying about that. Pretending that, oh, this leads to a faster lap time. Utter bullshit.
This is turn 1. Oops. Already looking like he was going off-roading a little bit. By the way, the stewards did look into the Colapinto and Gasly incident. No further investigation needed. That was what happened down at turn 12.
That Williams seems a bit prone, doesn't it? As soon as he gets some yaw, some oversteer, it's like the back end sliding, and the tyre seems to give up grip very early on. It's like they lose aero performance when they get into what we call yaw, sliding sideways.
And that's going to be very costly there for Franco Colapinto.
Funny that you'd lose aero performance if that airflow going over the car isn't in the direction of travel. Strange that, isn't it, Martin?
Come on, guys. That was not good. Yep, copy Lewis. Yeah, understood.
And I rather get the feeling Lewis Hamilton feels that the timing of his run could prove to be very costly for him as well. At 1:33.3, you'd be surprised if that troubles the top 5, Martin.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually 8 thousandths slower than he did in SQ2, whereas Russell's found 7 tenths. So Lewis not happy with that at all.
Oh, Lewis is slower, but Russell has found 7 tenths. Oh, incredible, George.
I think it... he had to really jockey that into the corner, didn't he? No wonder he lost all that time in the middle. And
Oh, Hamilton had to jockey it into the corner. No wonder he lost all that time. I thought it was just because George had nursed his tyres through the first section where he was 4 tenths slower than Lewis.
towards the end of the lap, the rear tyres were crying enough. So you need...
Wasn't the rear tyres crying, Martin? The rear tyres that are only designed to last half a lap, they weren't crying.
To treat the outlap like you're just heading off to the shops, and then the first part of the lap.
Oh, this is awful for them, not keeping those temperature in the tyres. Oh, we can treat the outlap like we're heading off to the shops. See, we're getting different lies all the time. Oh, this is awful for Lewis on those heavily used hard compound tyres. Those temperatures are decreasing because the safety car's going too slow and he's not able to keep them tyres warm enough. Oh, now we can treat them tyres like we're going to the shops, can we? Different fucking narrative each time. Different lies each time. Oh, look at this, everybody. Oh, on this lap, you've got to work these tyres hard to get them up to temperature. On this lap, you've got to be really gentle with the tyres, as if you're driving to the shops. Contradictory bullshit, isn't it? Hype and bullshit. Lies, lies, fucking lies.
Do not take the grip the tyres can give you and then use them later on.
He did well, Lewis, there to stay on the white line and not get his time deleted.
He's quite good, isn't he?
He could have a career in this sport. Could the young man from Stevenage?
Fucking bastards these are. Anyway, right. Let's just go to the next one. So, I don't know which one this one is. Let's have a look.
Going to head to tomorrow. How much is the focus on trying to maximize the point score tomorrow
Oh, it's a Max Verstappen interview at the end of qualifying.
versus learning as much as you can for the Grand Prix on Sunday?
We'll do the best we can tomorrow in the sprint, but we also know, of course, the most points are available on Sunday, so that's where we really want to do well.
All right, well, congratulations again, being back on top. Max Verstappen sitting on the pole for the sprint race tomorrow.
Max Verstappen sitting on a pole. Right. What was he saying there? Yeah, we'll do the best we can in the sprint race, but the most points are available for the Grand Prix. What have I been saying? Silverstone 2021, the first sprint race. Lewis Hamilton qualified on pole for that. Okay, qualified on pole position, was the fastest car at Silverstone. Max sent down a lunge, overtook him on that sprint race. There were just 3 points available for winning the sprint race. 2 points for second, 1 point for third. That's what the points allocation were for that race. Do you think Lewis Hamilton was trying hard in that sprint race to risk actually putting himself in jeopardy for the Grand Prix on the Sunday? So no, Lewis Hamilton took it steady on the sprint race, just did enough, finished within about a second and a half of Max Verstappen on that Saturday sprint at Silverstone 2021. Took 2 points as opposed to 3, but made sure that he was still in a good position for the Grand Prix where the points mattered. But then we have a lap 1 crash in the Grand Prix, and we get the whole narrative of, oh, in order for this to have worked for Lewis Hamilton today in this 50-odd lap Grand Prix, he would have had to have taken the lead on the first lap. Otherwise, just like the sprint race, Max would have just driven away from him. Max didn't drive away from him in the sprint race. Okay, that was a sprint race where there was no points essentially at stake. A difference of 1. Okay, where you risk 25 points, 18 points, 15 points. They're the points that you really want on the Sunday. But again, they paint the lie, they paint the picture, they hype up the strap-on fanboy. They vilify Hamilton, making Hamilton look desperate. Oh, he was desperate to overtake Verstappen on lap 1. Because if he didn't do that, then Verstappen would have won this race. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that Verstappen wouldn't have crashed out anyway, wouldn't have suffered a mechanical failure, wouldn't have lost time in the pits if they'd got a cross-threaded wheel nut. Wouldn't have known whether he'd have been able to manage those tyres that wear out after 1 lap, you know, and therefore Lewis, with better tyre management, being the tyre whisperer, could have actually undercut, overcut, did whatever he needed to do to ultimately be the winner over the race distance. No, he was desperate. Bullshit narrative. Anyway, next one.
Well, Lewis, you were flying at points in that sprint qualifying, but then just got really unlucky in SQ3. Can you just talk me through what happened on track?
Yeah, just got unlucky with the yellow flag, and that's what it is. I was 4 tenths up, but...
Do you feel that that's a sprint qualifying pole that's gone begging, basically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. But it is, you know, it is what it is. It's the good thing is the team's, you know, made a step with the car. The upgrade has clearly worked, and really grateful to everyone back at the factory for all the hard work over this period of time, because it's been a tough slog for everyone to get the upgrades and make sure that they're working. And so, yeah, it's not the end of the day. Tomorrow we got another chance. So.
Are you also buoyed by the trend from FP1 into sprint qualifying? Because FP1, it looked a bit tricky to drive out there, but then you look right on it in SQ in the qualifying there.
Well, I mean, we did a great job through in between to make changes to the car. And it's always a bit of a gamble because you don't know whether or not it's going to work, the ones that the changes that you make, but you hope they do what you aim to do with them. And as soon as I got out, the car was like night and day different. So it was great work from.
This idea of not knowing what the changes are going to do, well, there's a problem there. Okay, if you can't design a car where it's going to have predictable handling characteristics, then you're a shit designer. Okay, these things should be predictable. The actual amount of knowledge that has been built up over the years should make handling characteristics of motor cars extremely predictable. So having a car whereby you can change the setup and completely obliterate your pace is there's something not right there. There is something not right. So again, the knowledge built up over all this period of time should give you predictable handling, predictable and repeatable handling characteristics. And the fact that they are always claiming that, oh, we don't know what this car's doing. We don't. There's grave errors if this is what you're producing. Anyway, finish this one off.
From the guys in the garage, and then with Mono and Mike, did a great job. So
best of luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
Bono and Mike. Don't trust Bono. The guy is corrupt. He's a Charlie uniform November Tango as well. Last one. So this is the Anthony Davidson analysis of what Lewis Hamilton experienced on his flying lap. You know, remember Brundle and Crofty were telling you, oh, it was Lewis overcooked it in that first third and then suffered for that in the last two thirds. Oh, but George, on the other hand, George set the faster lap because he was gentle. He gave away the first third of that lap to get the benefit of it in the final two thirds. Or was it the fact that just halfway around Lewis Hamilton's lap, he experienced yellow flags, had to lift, had to ease off. That destroyed his lap time. Here we go.
So I did wonder at the time when I watched it whether the yellow flag or the momentary yellow flag from Colapinto's spin in turn 12 had anything to do with Lewis losing time there, or at least running wide himself. So let's have a listen to this as he heads down towards that corner. Let's see if he has to lift off for a start for the yellow flag. Remember, you start braking around the 100-meter board. So
you see, some of us, when we were listening to the commentary live, and we were hearing, oh, yellow flags in sector 2 as Lewis Hamilton is on his flying lap. Some of us are thinking straight away, well, that's going to compromise his lap time, isn't it? If he's going to have to lift, if that's still showing yellow as he's passing that scene, that's going to compromise his lap time. Some of us are thinking that straight away. We're not listening out for the bullshit. We're not actually going to be hanging on every word of Brundle and Crofty. We can determine that for ourselves. And then finally, somebody goes through the analysis of it. But some of us had already realised this before we needed this analysis. So only this can evidence it.
That's on the right-hand side as it comes up. Let's have a listen to this first of all. Start for the yellow flag. Remember, you start braking around the 100-meter board. So that's on the right-hand side as it comes up. Let's have a listen to this first of all. Yeah, so for me, that's as clear as day. It's the first time I've heard this, by the way, and when I got the clips set in here, I can't hear it until we go live, so I'm listening to this for the first time as well. So he's not braking, he's not lifting and braking at the 100-meter board. There's a definite lift at the 150-meter board before he brakes. Let's listen to it again. So he's braked. So yeah, I'll roll it back again because there's another thing going on as well, which I'm sure you've seen that I haven't mentioned just yet. So here's the board on the right, the light panel, flashing, I believe, yellow in the beginning, round about there. It's a bit hard to see on the screen here, but as he gets closer to that light, that would have been the reason why he lifted, because he sees yellow. And as he gets closer, I think there it actually goes green. It's, like I say, hard to see, but I think at that moment it might go green as Colapinto's recovered. He's back onto the track. And at that moment, he's now thought, well, I've lost time by lifting and I've slowed down. So in the driver's head, you think I can therefore brake later than where I usually do. The braking zone is round about here, usually, just before the 100-meter board. So if you've lifted off and lost momentum, you feel like you could therefore recover that loss of momentum and brake later. And I feel like that's what he's done. And he's braked too late and then lost the rear himself and nearly goes off the track. And there is Colapinto in the distance, and you've got the green light ahead. So I feel like that's probably what happened there. And there's a lot of truth to what Lewis has just said.
Funny that, isn't it? So just to go over that again, as Lewis is approaching that corner, he's getting yellow flags, so that means he has to lift. So he lifts, but just as he's approaching where the braking zone is, it goes green again. So he's thinking, can I carry a bit more? I'm going slower than I normally would. Can I brake later to try and regain some of the time I've actually lost by lifting? And by braking later, he's got a misjudgment of that, and he's gone through the corner all wrong. And that's upset the car and buggered tenths off his lap time. Okay, so that's ultimately them yellow flags are affecting his lap time. He's then tried to get as much of that back as possible, but that's upset the handling of the car because you're not driving your optimum lap, are you? You're trying to make adjustments on the fly and you got it wrong. But You're trying to make out that this is about tyres and this is about George Russell being using his expertise to give away the first sector so he'd be faster on the tyres in the last few, and it's all about yellows and Lewis Hamilton trying to get the maximum pace based on what he was confronted with. And then because he's tried to make adjustments to try and do that, it's not gone as well as it might have been. It's all narrative. It's all bullshit narrative. Now, this has been an angry rant of a video. I sometimes do these because I get pissed off at listening to all the bullshit that we're fed. I get pissed off at watching this so-called sport that is just full of shit, full of cheats, no integrity, a piss poor example to be set to human beings. One that we get absolute cunts that want to come to the comment section to gob off with what they think that they know fuck all, and these little fuckers have got zero integrity. And if we ever met any of them face to face, they'd say fuck all because they're just little wank boys. Okay, they're absolute fucking turds of human beings, but they're the king of the keyboard. Okay, so they're quite happy to do that. I'd love to meet some of these cunts. Love to meet some of them. But this is the kind of little individuals that this sport seeks to attract. The sport thrives off that. The sport is having a massively damaging impact on societal values. Capitalist cunts telling people that this is this lie this week, and this is this lie this week, and this is this lie this week, and we're all making billions, and fuck you all, is essentially what's going on. That's what's going on. And then we've got paid presenters paid to fucking lie, paid to fucking lie, paid to fucking lie. This is what you're getting all the time. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop because the sport needs to be pure. It needs to be pure. I'm going to play you out with a video clip that I found, I found it hilarious, and I think some of you will too. So it's this lad. Don't know what his name is. Ian Edwards, is it? Talking about reincarnation. Okay, here we go.
So it's tougher for black people to believe in reincarnation. Because right now I can blame white people for slavery. Right, that's some fucked up shit you did back then. But just because I'm black now doesn't mean I was black in my past. I could be who I'm angry at. I could have been a slave owner. That could be my statue I made them take down. And they say when you fuck up in your past life, when you come back, your next life is harder. So, as a former white person, I'd like to warn you new white that Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Because if they don't, you'll find out. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what race, nationality, black, white, Asian, Palestinian, or Jewish, be good to people because you don't know who you're going to come back to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely should have been a better slave owner. The way my life is going, I was a top tier 1 asshole.
Right, that'll do on this one. Thank you for listening. Apologies for some of the language that some of you might be disturbed by, but we shouldn't be. We should be more disturbed by lies. We should be more disturbed by having media, people that are put in front of us as experts, telling us bullshit. That is the most disturbing thing. Using language, using words that some people are jarred by, shouldn't be the thing that jars you. The thing that should jar you is being lied to, being told a story that's not true. That's the problem. These are the things that enable corruption to take place. when corruption happens, the consequence of it is that people are taken advantage of. You're being lied to is like somebody coming round to your grandmother's house and swindling her out of her life savings because they've lied to her. Okay, they've convinced her of something and taken all of her money. Okay, that is what lies do. That's what these bastards do. These bastards that are lying to you, put on the telly to lie to you. Somebody is making money out of their lies and their bullshit. They're attracting us to the show. People are investing their time, their emotion, their energy, their money into something, and it's bullshit. And these are the bastards like Brundle and Crofty that are getting paid to get. They live an affluent lifestyle. They're getting paid lots of money, living a lifestyle, and what they're doing has got zero integrity, and they're just filth. The Red Bull filth machine. Absolutely filthy, cheating bastards. Yet Horner, Newey, Wheatley, all multimillionaires. They're living the dream, aren't they? Oh yeah, but you keep buying Sky Sports, you keep buying your tickets to Silverstone at 400 quid a pop. Yeah, you'll have a lovely time. No. It's going to change. It's going to change. Anyway, like I say, that will do on this one. Make sure you go and watch that video from Espinala44. I'll put the link to that in the description to this, so you can go and click on that and go and check them out. Subscribe to them if you've not already done so. Hopefully, if I've got the time, I'll be back to, if any more bullshit is spouted by this corrupt pair. Oh, a whole lot of them. From Sky Sports F1. I'll be back with a video about that for whatever I see in either the sprint race, or if I get a chance to see it, or qualifying, or the race itself. And then we'll be back on to exposing more about Abu Dhabi 2021, the global fraud that is yet to be punished because those people paid to investigate it by the authorities aren't doing it. That's strange, isn't it? That's strange. Anyway, thank you for your time.